Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fitri and Rafi and I am from Design Studio Class B. And now I am going to present to you my project on Design Studio 2. The first project is named Spillusk. First, the site took an area near the seashore and got its inspiration from the shell of the snail. The point that I took from the shell of the snail is, if you look closely, it has tapered shape and it is getting smaller to the corner, which creates a good rhythm and a good composition. Another point that I took from the shell of the snail, it is the pattern. If you look the pattern, it has a random and irregular shape, but it still creates a good shape for the eyes. Besides, it also has two different colors and arranged in crisscross way. Therefore, from the inspiration, I made a composition took from the shell of the snail. The first step is to make the main framework made from bamboo, and it was arranged in order from the smallest until the biggest one. The bamboo was bent and tied. After that, there were small pieces of bamboo were nailed to the main framework in a zigzag form. Then, the last step is tying ropes in the empty spaces left. The pieces of bamboo and ropes were arranged in crisscross way, following the pattern of the shell. Architectural principle that is used in this design is a repetition and rhythm composition. These are the pictures of the final model. We can see from the top view, front view, left and right view. And for the connection, the composition was using two kinds of connections. The first one was using ropes and the second one was using nails. For the ropes connection, there are two kinds of methods that were used. The first one using overhand knot and the second one using figure 8 knot. And for the nail connection, the pieces of bamboo were made a hole before the nails were inserted to the bamboo. And these are the drawings of the composition. It contains section and the floor plan. Now, let's move to the second project. On the second assignment, there was additional aspect that must be considered when designing the composition, which is physiological empathy of the site. In this case, the design was made to respond to the empathy toward light. This is the final result of the second assignment, which named is Shady Woody. For the second assignment, the inspiration came from a plant which is coconut leaves. Coconut leaves are arranged in a line to create a good rhythm and good repetition composition. From this inspiration, the progresses of model making were made. At first, the design was supposed to be like this, where the connection was just simply to attach the skewers into the lock. The lock was made a hole before to attach the skewers, but this composition is too rigid and limit the creation of the design, so it is changed. The first concept was changed to this, where there was a big lock and it was tied to other 5 smaller logs as the main framework, and it was planned to be tied by rope in order to respond to the physiological empathy between one smaller log to the other one. But the design also changed because the smaller logs have irregular shape that made the ropes look untidy and messy. And this is the last model, which is the final result of the second assignment. Around the big log, there were around 17 skewers were tied by using rope. They were arranged in a line and in various angles to create such a wavy impression to the composition. Then, on the corner of the log, the skewers were tied by using rope. The usage of the different materials in this composition was aimed to respond toward the movement of the sun. On the two corners of the composition, we can see that the skewers were tied by ropes. It was aimed to let the sunlight from the sunrise and the sunset to enter the site, and it was aimed to create a soft reflection too. While the scarries were made to respond to the high noon sunlight, so it's usually on 12 p.m. where the sun is usually so hot. So it was planned and it was expected to create a shading place for the people or for the occupants on the site. For the connection on this model is mostly used rope, and the technique that were used are cloth hitch and correlation method. The correlation method was used to connect or to attach to timbers where the position is perpendicularly or right for about 90 degrees, where the cloth hitch was used to start and to end this correlation so it can be strong and stable. These are the drawings of the design, which contains section and the floor plan. And this is the last project called Wavy in the Tree, which is the third project. For this project, the inspiration came from the natural shape, and it is sea wave which reflected by the sun. The points that were taken from this inspiration is the wavy line itself from the sea wave, and the dark light effect which was created by the sun which reflected on the surface of the sea. From those points of the inspiration, there were the processes of model making. The inspiration of the sea wave and the wavy shape of the sea wave itself was applied in the rattan, which was made to an arch and it was attached to the tree. There were 3 bones of rattan, and each of bones has various heights to create repetition composition. And then to create the flag effect, the rope was used. The rope was arranged to each arc in order from the tight rope until the loosened tight rope and backwards. It was aimed to create the reflection of dark one and light one. If on the previous assignment we just respond to the physiological empathy, the design also has to respond to the physical empathy. The design must be stable since it has directly attached to the tree using hitch and lacing method to avoid dislocation. The rope that was used is thick rope but still lighter than the rattan so that it can bear its own load. For the physiological empathy, the rope was arranged to create dark black effect which is related to the light. The rope has been tied in order from the tight rope to the loosened tight rope. The tight rope was aimed to decrease the amount of light that will enter to the side, while the loosened tight rope was aimed to increase the amount of light that will enter the side. So in one composition, the composition will decrease the amount of light, and it also will increase the amount of light, so it can create the dark black effect on the side. And for the last assignment, the connection was used in this design is a development from the previous assignment with using timber hitch and cross lashing. The cross lashing was used to attach the rattan to each other and to attach the rattan to the tree, and the timber hitch was used to start and to end the cross lashing itself. And these are the drawings of the floor plans and the section of the composition. And those all the designs I have made on Design Studio 2. I'm so sorry for any lacking, and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.